Hello there, and happy International Day of People with Disabilities. It's a really long name, I will talk about that in a second. I have got a lot that I want to say about various topics. Yeah, this is exciting. So, yeah. Right, I had this idea. Really, let me get my audio sorted. That was not a very good fade out, but we'll ignore that. So I had this idea at 4 in the morning. No, I didn't. I did a lot of preparation at 4 in the morning. It's now 1 p.m. I woke up an hour ago, and the light in here is not really flattering. But I had this idea yesterday, so it's a bit short notice. I was planning to start this in the new year for the first or second week of 2025, and then I thought, you know what? I think I should do one session today and see how it goes. Now I'm gonna put my phone up here and give myself a better camera. One sec. I will try not to fall. Can you look at me? Okay. Considering I did that without actually being able to see the camera, that's not bad. Does that work better? Ta-da! Okay. Weird angle. It's the best I can do right now. So I thought what I want to do is do weekly streams, maybe weekly, maybe every other week. And I want to just talk about disability. Disability is a topic that really interests me. I love talking about disability, and so I am disabled, by the way. Power chair. I like this power chair. So I've been a full-time wheelchair user since basically I was born. I was born with a rare condition, and so yeah, I've always used a wheelchair, and so that gives me one perspective of life. I have a lot of friends who are disabled and are either ambulatory wheelchair users, which I am not, or they are what's the word I'm looking for? They have acquired disabilities. So I think that both of those things give different life experiences. I mean, of course, when we talk about disability, it is a lot more than just wheelchairs. It is, whether it's blindness, it's autism, it's cerebral palsy, it's, I don't know, there's a whole list. When I talk about disability, I don't just mean a physical disability, it might also be neurological, neurodiversity, my brain keeps disappearing, intellectual, or mental health. It could be so many different types of disabilities, and I want to try and look at as many different disabilities as possible. The idea is, I'm not a trained professional, I'm not a medical professional, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I'm just going to come on here and talk about disability and give my own views, and I do like to do a lot of research into different disabilities, and so I think I have more knowledge than an average person does. And before each disability session, I will talk to various people who I know have a condition. I'll do my research, basically. I'm not just going to pull words out my backside. So yeah, that's my plan. Did I forget to do a category? Yes, I did. On Twitch. So we are streaming on Twitch and we are on YouTube. I was hoping we'd also be on Instagram, but we're not. I don't think. And yeah, we've got a few different channels there. My name is Joel. I don't know if I said that yet. I am part... Why is the subtitles not working? We're supposed to have subtitles, but they're not working. Hello. Because I forgot to press that button. Okay. Great start. I was meant to be... Hello. Testing, subtitles. There we go. Kind of. No. What was I going to say? Yeah, my name's Joel, and I am the owner of the Disability Network. The subtitles are appalling right now. Hello. Nope, we've just decided that subtitles are... We have just decided that subtitles are not going to work. Okay, so subtitles often have issues picking up my voice. You can see that being demonstrated perfectly here. Okay, it gets like every couple words. That is not reliable enough to have on stream. This worked yesterday when I tested it. Well, I say yesterday. This worked at 4 AM. It works reasonably well considering the fact that when I'm really tired, I don't enunciate. I'm not really tired. I'm not really sorry, I'm really tired. Okay, we're going to turn off subtitles because that is not working at all. However, we'll go back to this. So I want to look at lots of different disabilities. My name is... I'll try and finish in a sentence now. My name is Joel. I am the owner and founder of the Disability Network, which is a Discord server for disabled people. Able-bodied people are more than welcome to join as well. But we are aimed at disabled people, no matter what kind of disability you have. And... Okay. Story time. I started it So I started a podcast with a friend of mine called Julia. She's not here today. She's working. I don't think I even told her that I was planning to do this today. She might just randomly find it on the ramped up social media. I'm like, what is this? But I met her at college, and we were both in student council, and we both had the same role basically, which was advocating for disabled people, trying to make college more accessible to people. We did a few different projects, which I enjoyed, definitely. But that started like, it got me really into doing activism and advocacy, and also it kind of made me go, huh, I know a lot about disability. I like talking about disability. I would like to, do this kind of, talk about disability. When me and Julia first met, we had I think it was only 20-minute rant. Julia will tell you it was an hour. It wasn't, because it was in my lunch break. No, not lunch break, it was between a break in lessons. I had gone down to the canteen, and I couldn't be there for longer than 10 minutes. And I went to grab a snack, and went back up to class, and saw another friend. I was like, I just spent the entire of that break talking to a disabled person, and I was so happy, because I think, particularly at the time, I didn't know many disabled people, and I think that when disabled people get to talk together and just be like, it reminds you that you're not alone. I think sometimes disability can feel really isolating. Oh, Julia is listening. Hello, Julia. Hello, lovely to see you. Yeah, welcome. If you would like to join the stream, let me know and we can bring you on. But I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, so we started a podcast because we just ranted for ages. Let's make this a regular thing. Let's let other people be able to hear our rambles. And so that's what we did. We did series 2 last year. We're getting ready to release series 3. I'm the one doing the editing. It's taken me ridiculously long. But hopefully that will also be coming in the new year. This series, by the way, we are talking to we're talking to particularly autistic people and people with ADHD, about special interests and hyperfixations, and they basically have free range to just info dump to us, which is really fun. I love hearing. Julia wants to join. I have no idea how to do that, because I didn't prepare this in advance. What's the easiest way without me doxing myself? That is a critical question. Also, how do I do it live? Julia, if you're there, join the Discord server. And I will try and get something to work. Yeah, I didn't prepare at all in advance. My internet might also crash, so this might not work. We're gonna see. Anywho. I'm worried that's the wrong Discord. Okay. While I try and get that working, I'm gonna keep talking. We also... Wait, is that gonna work? I love that I've just gone silent while I try and get this to work. Right. Discord. But you won't be able to hear that. I need to figure out how to... Okay, we're gonna test this as we go. Back to what I was saying. What was I saying? I've really lost track now. I got distracted. Well, not distracted. A nice distraction. But not one that I intended to have. Oh yeah, and people just info dump about their special interests or hyperfixations. If you would like to be a guest, put it in the comments down below, and I will give you instructions about how to do that. And how you can get involved. So that's how, out of that, grew the Disability Network Discord server. And this is something that I'm really proud of. This is something that I really believe in. I'm neglecting other aspects of my life for Disability Network. Shouldn't be doing that, but I am. I think Julia's joining. Woo. Yeah. I don't know where she is though. I know. Don't have her yet. I'm trying to get all this ready before she joins. Hey, we did it. Let's see. Hello?
Am I doing this right? I have no idea what I'm doing.
You are currently live. We got it working. I wasn't sure if that was going to work or not.
Okay, great.
So yeah, again, this is completely unplanned. Do you want to turn your camera on? I'll see if I can turn mine on as well.
I'm currently in my kitchen.
Oh, okay.
This was not that.
No,
So,
it was not. Turn on camera.
I don't know how attractive me being in my kitchen doing my lunch would be, but you know,
That's fine.
we're here. Why not? Hello. How
this is
are you?
I'm very well. Hey, we got it to work. That
I found
didn't
out
take
from
long.
YouTube because I'm subscribed. I'm subscribed to the Ramped Up Podcast YouTube channel. Yes, I'm that person. And
That's good.
and it was like, they are live. And I'm like, hello, live? And I went to the Discord server. It's like, today it will be live. And I'm like, who's we? Definitely not me. That's for sure.
Well, you are now. Where's the
Anyway, carry
caption?
on the story.
As always, I have gotten distracted and I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Let's use the subtitles of Discord and see. Hello.
Maybe please.
Okay, I'm not sure if it's gonna work. We will see. That's my main do captions for the time being. I'm trying to make this look. Okay, captions still aren't working there. Anyway, it's International Day of People with Disabilities. That's a long name, I hate it. I personally would call it International Day of Disabled People. Shortens it just a bit. Okay, having the subtitles gets my words so wrong. It's going to drive me crazy. But essentially my plan for this series is we're going to look at different disabilities. I have a list. I don't know how many people have heard of Obsidian. It looks like this. Come out quickly. And you get like a graph and you can connect all of these pages together. And some of them look really cool. But I'm going to build a database is the wrong word. But I'm going to build like a big comprehensive source of different disabilities and just talk about it and see how each disability can kind of link together the similarities and differences between them and all that kind of thing. And yeah, this is something that I'm really excited to do. How do I phrase this? So, my experience in talk about disability. I am disabled, which kind of means I have to talk about disability to someone at some point in my life. Whether it's like me being like, hey, I would like to be able to use your toilet. That happens a lot. Where you're just like, your accessible toilet is not accessible. That's basically part of being disabled. It's reviewing disabled toilets.
Yeah. Thing is, the amount of conversation I've had with my friends who are not even disabled, they're able-bodied, people, and they're like, really? Like, I thought every disabled person is accessible. Not really. So it's pretty good to you.
Yeah. Toilets are not very accessible by and large. I have seen a few, like, really good toilets. That's such a weird sentence.
So have I. There's one in my university which I'm like always going into, and I refuse to go into any other toilet because I know that was great.
Yeah. Why on earth did my... What is up with this bot? Because I did not say new that many times. What is going on?
It's like I refuse to cooperate.
No. Okay, I'm just gonna get it to leave the channel because it's going to annoy me. Yeah, so let's talk about the main two different models of disability. I think there's three. I can't remember the third one off the top of my head, but we're going to talk about them anyway. let me see if I can get OBS on my phone, and then we hopefully. Oops, no, don't do that. No, it won't be easier. Fine. So, what screen are we on? Are we on the right screen? Yes, we are. So let's talk about the social model of disability first. No, we won't. Let's talk about the medical model of disability. What's that? I have no idea what you just said.
I just said I didn't know there was such a thing as a model of disability.
Oh, I thought you knew this. Okay. Nice, I get to educate you.
No, I didn't. This is completely new information to me.
Woo! Okay. Medical model of disability. The number of times I've written
I don't know if you're-
disability today.
Are you screen sharing right now? Because on
Not on
the
Discord, because I know that is one great way to
Okay.
crash everything.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna just like act like I know what you're saying and what you're showing people because I don't see anything. That's okay.
That's fine.
I'll watch later on. I'll watch it back later.
Yeah. So the medical model is the or particularly was the main way of looking at disability. I can't type and talk at the same time of thinking about disability.
So like it's the first thing people think of when you say
Yeah.
disability.
Well, kind of,
Mm.
but also society's attitudes are what we're really thinking
Oh,
about.
yeah.
So, if we go back before I was born, over 30 years ago, I'm not 30 years old, by the way. But if we go back,
Just so it's clear.
if we go back in time and we talk about, I mean, look at how disabled people were treated. There's like some really distressing images of young autistic children being put in straitjackets because people didn't know how to deal with them. People didn't want to interact with them. People were institutionalized all the time for no reason, just because
Yeah.
people were seen as very undesirable. And in some countries, it's still like that, unfortunately. So, Julia, we've spoken in the
Yep.
past about how in Poland, where you're from, you just wouldn't have a very good life.
Now, personally, I would have been treated basically as a child, not above the age of 5, for example. So basically, you would get an education, I think, until like our version of college, but it wouldn't be the level. Everyone's in the same class, working on the same level until the legal requirement of education, and that is it. There's very little chance of going into university. There's very little chance of you getting employable skills. There's very little chance of you actually going to get employed by a company, basically, or anywhere. And just all in all, my parents were kind of told or like suggested to like give me away and start over again, which my parents were like, absolutely not, we are not doing that. And thankfully, my family was like very much strongly opinionated on that. Be like, no, we want her, we want to keep her in the family, we want to like help raise her. And yeah, moved here. And to be fair, I don't regret ever coming here, or like my parents coming here. I quite like where I live, and I don't think I'll ever come back.
Yeah, and that still is like the kind of attitude that people have, even in America, which surprises me. So there was a new show that came out fairly recently, like less than a month ago, I think, called Out of My Mind, and it's about.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's about a girl with cerebral palsy who is treated like a child. She's a teenager, and
Mhm.
she just, because she's non-verbal, she's just, as you say, dumped in a class with a bunch of other different people who are all different ages and different levels of comprehension. And she's a bright girl, and she's just stuck in this, basically repeating the same year for years. Which, yeah, is so, yeah, so devastating. To just be
But it's reality.
perceived as incapable of anything because he can't talk. Anyway, I got off topic. I want to get into that in a lot more detail another time. But that is a really good movie. Not sponsored, but I highly recommend that. The medical model is where we look to fix a person rather than society. And the argument for that is it's easier to fix one person than society. To an extent, yes. But no. Because obviously, if we look at the World Health Organization statistics, 20 to 25% of the world are disabled. Now, trying to fix all of those people is not possible. And so, yeah. What are you doing, phone? Oh, I thought. Sorry, my phone's voice assistant just activated itself. Yeah. So, rather than trying to fix every single person across the world, we can change people's attitudes, because that's the main issue that needs fixing in society. It's the way that people perceive disabled people. It's the way that people treat others, which is actually easier to change than you might think. That's, I think, the biggest hurdle. I mean, I could talk about step-free access for wheelchairs and using Braille on signage and all that kind, and learning sign language in schools and all that kind of thing. But a lot of that is, like, you need to change people's mindsets first. You need to educate people and help people to understand, yeah, what it's like to be disabled. And if you help people to empathize, then they are more likely to try to change. And, like, you just need one person to change and to be a better person, and that has a ripple on effect. If you can get the right people to change for the better, they will change other people as well. And
Yeah.
then you have a society of better people. So that's...
But it does take time.
Sorry?
It does take time. It takes
yeah.
a lot of time and effort. And
Yeah.
also, what I think is also important is it's important to have allies. So, us as disabled people, we can advocate for ourselves what we would like, and sometimes we don't get listened to, if that makes sense. And sometimes having those allies, like people who do listen and who do want there to be change, are usually the ones who would help amplify it and make it more noticeable to the masses, which is frustrating because you need to find the right people, but it's so worth it in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of... I forgot that you're not on stream. There we go. I don't know how people can see you. Yeah, so that's kind
I'm
of...
eating right now, so maybe not.
Huh?
I'm eating right now, so if they are looking at me, please don't. It's not worth it right now.
Fair. This is your lunch break. I forgot that. I'm not sure if
This
I will
is
keep doing these at this time. This just seems like a good time that works at the moment. Where...
I mean, I won't probably be available every single time, but like, I saw you were live, and I was like, it's my lunch break. I was like, well.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to join. It's very nice for you to join. I do find it easier to talk back to someone and have that live interaction.
I noticed that when you were struggling, I was like, let me just hop on real quick, help him regulate himself a little bit.
Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, are we not on YouTube? What happened to YouTube? Oh yeah, my internet just froze and forgot. Where was I? Yeah, so social model is where we try to change society and make society more accessible to different people. So that might be learning sign language, that might be being more accepting of like people showing their quote unquote weirdness. So that might be another example. It's basically trying to make society more empathetic. That's how I would summarize it. I mean, if you phrase it like that, it's a lot less intimidating because empathy is a good thing. Obviously, step-free access is a good thing, but people don't see it like that for some reason.
It's even something as simple as access to a restaurant. How many times we went to a restaurant, it says it's step-free and it's accessible with a wheelchair, with a disabled toilet, and it isn't.
No, yeah.
It just proves a point of how it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the medical model is more about trying to fix a person, and the social model is about trying to fix the society around the person. Both have the intention of trying to get the disabled person to be more a part of a community of society, but there's just complete different ways of doing it. The medical model, the reason why most people don't like the medical model anymore is because, or most disabled people, I should say, is because it's inferring that the disabled person is defective. Which is so sad. I don't consider myself defective. Like, it looks like I have dwarfism, I don't actually. But that's I say that I have dwarfism sometimes just to help people understand my body without having to describe it. It's not dwarfism, but people would mistake it for dwarfism.
Wait, sorry. What do you mean by, like, you explain to people you got dwarfism?
Huh?
I mean, like, the characteristics, that you have the characteristics of dwarfism?
Oh, yeah. So, the height of it, yeah. So I'm 3 feet tall. So...
Okay.
That kind of... That, to describe my body type, I should say.
Okay.
But I don't...
I got really confused. I'm like, I would have never thought... Like, okay, as another disabled person, I, again, would have not guessed you as someone who has dwarfism.
Really?
That's just personal thing. No, I wouldn't have guessed that. At all.
I'm not diagnosed, for the record. I've been peer diagnosed by many people. Like,
but
so many
again,
people
as a peer, like... if I was to peer diagnose you, I would have not put you as dwarfism at all.
Oh,
it would have
dwarfism.
been completely...
Did you say dwarfism?
Yeah, I wouldn't have not guessed that. I wouldn't have even placed it as an option, if that makes sense. When you said you've got peer diagnosed. Personally, I wouldn't.
Oh, I see. I thought you said autism. And so I was like,
no.
I've been peer diagnosed. I was like, you don't think I do?
I mean, I know you do, because you're not officially diagnosed, but like, just common knowledge at this point.
Yeah. Train of thought is gone. I might also have ADHD.
I have no idea what it is. Maybe you are.
I have a feeling I am. People keep saying that I am. I don't know if I agree, but I get distracted quite easily and regularly lose my train of thought. So if you would like to follow the series, just be prepared for that.
It's also a lot of editing that comes into play. So if Joel does lose his train of thought, it's mostly edited out.
Yes, definitely. You can't do that with a live stream though.
It's the joy of live streaming. Your mistakes are public.
Yes, very scary. You know what? When I did my first ever live stream, it wasn't about disability. It was for gaming, and I doxed myself by accident in the first in the
What do you
first
mean?
stream.
What did you do?
I think the camera fell, and it showed my a letter on the table with my address on it.
Oh no, Joel.
Thankfully, because it was my first stream, there was no one watching. But I had to delete it. I was like,
It'll be
Joe,
a
how?
worse if you were 100,000. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Thankfully, we don't have that issue at the moment.
I think we don't have that many people
No,
viewing us yet.
that's okay. I don't mind at the moment. This will be recorded and then we can archive it. Anyway, I'm trying to make notes. I'm failing. I don't know how people do that. There's a streamer I watch, who I think is called Healthy Gamer or something. Healthy, something like that. And he talks about mental health, and while he's talking, he's writing stuff down. I was going to be like, I'm going to do that, and I'm not doing very well.
Actually, what I do when I've got presentations is I write notes for myself, bullet point notes, as I'm talking, just cross them out.
Yeah.
Because I can't do freestyling. I can't do it. We've established that already. I can't do it.
I'm going to merge both of these together. So the models...
Anyway, what were we talking about?
We're talking about the models of disability. Model. So this model tries to fix a person. It is... Or it was very popular. Very popular. I wouldn't say 40 plus years ago. Disabled people who couldn't be cured were often hidden away. Hidden from society. And disabled people were often pressured
Treatments, weren't they?
Into getting a cure, into being cured or getting treatment. So Julia, just because you can't see this, I have basically a Word document, which I'm writing into, or trying to. I'm failing in the process. Whereas the social model, tries to fix society / the mindset of able-bodied people. And I say able-bodied people, but that doesn't necessarily mean that disabled people can't also have this mindset where they have to be cured. In fact, I was talking about this with a friend of mine yesterday. So, right, I need to think about what I say before I say it. So I say it in a sensitive way.
Hey, can I ask something? Is it about hidden disability?
Kind of, but not really.
Okay. Just so that way I know the content before you say it out loud. That way I can step in if needed.
So it's more people who have acquired their disability. So, as I said, I was born with my disability, and so it's always been a part of me. Where I think some people who have acquired their disability have kind of got it, I don't know, is it some kind of denial? In grief, where they're like, I want to be able to walk again. And that's like the sole goal. Like, I cannot live my life unless I am able to walk. Which, okay, as a wheelchair user myself and one who's been always disabled, kind of hurts a little bit. It's like, it's being disabled that bad. Like, I completely understand that people, yes, disability is hard. That's why it's a disability. It does disable you. But for it to be seen as being able-bodied being seen as a source of happiness, like you have to be able-bodied to be happy, or trying to make sure that disability is only temporary, is, I don't think it's healthy. I'll put it that way. Like, yeah, if you have a spinal injury and you want to be able to walk, then okay. But where it becomes an obsession or a focus, like, yeah, it's not you who should be looking to be fixed, I don't think. And I know that's like a really divisive, topic.
I was trying to unmute myself and I failed. I was like, unmute, no, I don't know if I can, but no, wrong one. But yeah, I'm listening.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not the best person to be talking about this subject. I want to talk, like, properly do this subject justice when I have other people here who are physically, no, who have an acquired disability, and therefore can not argue with me but debate with me, because I don't want to be like, I don't know, I want someone to bounce back off of, because I might not be right. I might not be right about everything I say.
Yeah.
And because I have one type of disability and I was born with it, I have one perspective. It's like what I was saying at the start. I have one perspective. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily right. And so I want to have conversations like that, hopefully.
We need to get someone on the podcast to do that. If you know someone, or since you've mentioned it, maybe ask them if they're comfortable having a conversation with us.
Yeah, that would be a very good idea. I wonder if she's listening.
I
I've
personally
not
would
actually
like,
told anyone about what I'm doing, so I doubt she's listening at the moment.
I mean, the Discord knows, so if anyone has seen it, they should be joining and watching.
Yeah, we did invite our Discord server. Yeah, I don't think that she's online at the moment. But yeah, I'd love to talk to her about it, because it was a really interesting conversation. Yeah, so the social module tries to fix the society / the mindset of able-bodied people. It often involves lots of advocacy and activism. That's not how you spell activism. There we go. There is another module, but I forget what it's called. Models of disability.
And this is also me learning because I had no idea about this. I just thought there's like two ways of seeing it. You either have well, not two ways, it's multiple ways of seeing it where you're either born with it, you gain it over time, or you have it naturally. And that is it. Or you're not diagnosed. It's also
I
but
found
like
the
I
other
never knew
one.
there was actual
Then there's
Wait, who
also
created
the
these models? Do we know? Do you know?
What's that say?
Do you know who created these models? Curious.
No, I do not. I think it's more society views, so rather than one person creating a model. It's like
Society.
yeah, it's society's views. So the third model, which I don't think is so much, it's seen much less in the Western world. We still see it to some extent, but it's called the moral model, and basically it's seen as disability is the result of basically sin, or like doing something bad. It's like karma.
Oh, okay. Yep. And let me tell you, that one resonates quite deep.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I've not had many instances of that. I have had a number of people trying to heal me through prayer, which I'm not a fan of. Particularly as a Christian myself. I used to pray every night that God would heal me when I was like 8, and he didn't. And it took me a while, but for me personally, I believe that for whatever reason, God wants me to be disabled. I don't know why. But the fact that my mum has arrived home without the car. Should I be concerned? The idea that God wants me to be healthy, I understand to an extent, but not really. Because he doesn't. I don't know why. I don't know why he chose for me to be disabled, but I believe that he has. Do you want to talk a bit about about the models of disability? I'll be back in 1 second. Are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay. I need to leave very quickly. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay.
Oh, Julia, can you like are you okay to like cover for me? If you
It's gonna be very temporary though, because I have to go.
okay, I'll be back in like a minute. I guess my kind of view is it's kind of the reason my disability is kind of the reason why I moved away from faith a little bit. Because everyone had this mentality on me to get healed and get better and like not be disabled, I guess. And it kind of stung because I always thought like, why wasn't I good enough? Why was my disability a factor of why I wasn't good? I guess I have no idea how to say this. I need Joel to like. Hello, I'm back.
Hello.
Sorry about
Glad.
that.
I kind of wanted to join in the conversation with you about faith a little.
About what, sorry?
About faith, because we're talking about religion
Mm.
a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And I was wanted to say how like my disability was kind of the reason why I moved away from it a little bit. Well, a little bit in like a very strong way, where everyone in my family, like my parents are still kind of a little bit religious, and like grandparents, like extended family, is a bit more religious than I am. But like to me, it kind of stung a little bit that whenever I went to a church or was around people who are religious, they always were like, you need to get healed, you need to get better because clearly there's something wrong, like you've sinned or there's something that isn't right. And I kind of always thought to myself, like, why is it my responsibility for me to be healed if God intended me to be the way I am, but you're telling me I have to change and like I need to fix it? yes, there are medicine. Like one can say that medicine is kind of the answer to a prayer that people may have had 1,000, like hundreds of years ago. But nowadays, it's basically your human right to have medications and like be able to be comfortable. But it doesn't mean you have to completely change yourself and be someone you're not.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think the one time like I questioned like my RE teacher about this, she kind of said to me, "Well, yeah, you do have to get fixed." And I'm like, "No, I don't. Please don't insinuate that."
Yeah. I want to look at this model here. Oh, can you let me scroll? No, you can't. Okay. Give me 1 second. Get rid of that. Right, will you work for me now? Yes, there we go. Okay. So let's read this article. And yes, I am aware that I have suddenly gone silent. Give me 1 sec.
Sorry, someone just came to the kitchen and having some work done in the house. And someone just came to the kitchen and I was like, "Oh no, awkward."
Yeah. No.
Okay, I'm gonna like go upstairs. So
Okay.
actually, do I have time? I probably don't have time anymore.
This
This might be the end of my
of your existence. Of your existence. That's a bit
existence. No, of my assistance is what you wanted to say, not existence. Sir, it's
Yeah, I'm glad
assistance,
you're
not
not
existence.
leaving existence. Why won't this work?
What would you have done without me, huh?
I don't know. I would still be sobbing in the background somewhere. What is this doing? Please?
I don't know. Also, I love how this was a 4 a.m. idea.
It wasn't. It was a lot of it was prepared at 4 a.m. But
Oh, someone's coming. Sorry, I wanted to mute myself again.
okay.
Oh god, that's terrifying. Attack on Titans.
Yeah, I messed up my camera just a bit. Oh please, can you work? Right. Oh, okay. I'm nearly done. Like I say, this was all prepared. Very short notice, so there we go. I finally got my camera on. This does not look very good, but whatever. Anyway, I'm going to take a look at this article from the American Psychological Association. So this is about the 3 different models of disability. The last 2 are the biggest, I think. But basically, the models of disability are about how people think about disability. So these might be individual perspectives. It might be like a community, like a church or something, has these views as a collective. So the moral, I hope that's okay to read. That doesn't look very clear. The moral model is very much associated with like religion. Let me resize. There we go.
I'll see you later.
What?
I said bye, I'll see you later.
Oh, bye. Thank you for joining at such short notice. I appreciate it. Have a good day.
If you give me a heads up next time, I would probably prepare myself a bit more, but that's okay.
That's okay. I wasn't expecting you to join, so thank you very much. Yeah. Bye. Thank you, Julia, for joining. That means a lot to me. So, yeah, it's about how people view disability. The moral model is it's this idea that someone has a disability as a result of something that they have done, I'm just checking the audio levels. Right, I will try and focus now. It can be seen as a sign of honor sometimes, a sign of faith, or a sign of strength, which I didn't actually know about. Alternatively, it can be the result of, like, why can't I see what I'm looking for? A result of, like, bad karma, basically, or of sin. Like, what sin did your parents commit in order for you to be born disabled? That's kind of a views that some people have. From what I know, that's often like a quite Roman Catholic view. It might also be seen more in like Eastern religions, where there's a lot of belief in karma, and Christians tend to believe that it's a result of a form of punishment, for your parents' deeds. So some people believe that when the moral model is pushed onto a disabled person, then they believe they have to be a better person to be healed, or they need to have more faith. And we very rarely see that in society. There are some occasions that have been reported where that does genuinely happen, but it can be a lot of, often it is fake. Not always, and I try and keep an open mind, particularly as a Christian. I know that God does do incredible things, but that doesn't. Those incredible things don't always line up with what we perceive as incredible, or what we would want God to do. Sometimes God just does what is best, and it just doesn't seem like it from our perspective. I wasn't intending to get so religious in this session, but there we go. That's my belief, at least. So, and actually, I didn't realize, I've just read this in the article. Why can I not see it on the different way? Oh, so, a lot of what I will talk about in future sessions is that some movies will use physical disability in particular to show evil, and actually that comes from the moral model, where we believe that disability or physical difference is a sign of bad or doing something wrong or something like that. And so we see a lot of disability representation in the media, but usually that is negative representation. There are so many examples I can give, but I will have a whole episode for that alone. In contrast, some movies portray a disabled person as one who goes beyond usual human levels to achieve unique goals, such as a wheelchair user who climbs El Capitan in Yosemite. Another example might be I don't know, would you argue Sherlock Holmes is disabled? Like, he seems to have autism. He's like very not socially aware, and like he fits the stereotype of being very intelligent and what people would call high functioning autism, which is a label that is less used now. But yeah, that's kind of the moral model. What's another example of? Oh, Toph. Toph from Avatar: The Last Airbender. One of my favorite characters, because I love her sarcasm. I love her as a person. But she's blind, but she uses like not sonar, but like feels vibrations in the ground to understand what's happening around her, and that's kind of that almost never happens. Her superpowers. She's a earthbender, so she has control over rocks and stuff like that. So her superpowers kind of in a way replace or counteract her disability. And that's a bit of an issue because suddenly she's not disabled, she's actually more able-bodied in quotation marks, than her able-bodied friends. So that's another issue that we can run into in the media. I will do a whole I can ramble for ages on disability representation in media. I need to remember that I need to check like our chat. Is there anyone saying any messages? If you have any views, please let me know. I'd love to hear from other people and yeah, get people's views and yeah. So that's a moral model. I had forgotten about the moral model because that's not seen so much. It definitely is there, particularly if we're moving away from kind of religion, which we are as the Western society. We're moving towards more scientific views, the Big Bang and stuff like that. And so we're leaving religion, and so we're leaving the moral model, which in a way is good. But it is still a model that we see in the media and stuff like that. Medical model I've already spoken about, but this is like where we try to get a person as close to the norm as possible. Now I use norm in quotation marks, because when we talk about humans, there is no normal. Like, you can't say what is the normal race of people, because it differs all over the world. You can't say what's the normal age, because again, it differs. And yeah. So there is no normal when we're talking about humans. But when we talk about people, normal often means able-bodied. It means average. Why you want to be average, I don't know. But yeah, so it's about trying to get doctors and medical professionals to follow the advice of these experts, and everything's very clinical and medical and very trying to fit it into a box. We have these diagnoses, these boxes, and you have to meet these diagnostic criteria, and you know we go on these, we hunt for the right diagnostic label, and if something isn't quite right, we go to our doctor and say, hey, I don't think you're right, I want this diagnosis or whatever it is. So I like, part of me likes that because I've got a very scientific and analytical mind, and I love talking about different like diagnoses and stuff like that. But the issue is, once we find a diagnosis that we think fits, we try and use the same method of fixing that person as anyone else, and people are just not a one size fits all. Yes, it's definitely more complicated to create bespoke like treatment plans and whatever than just using a one size fits all. But actually bespoke plans work better because everyone is different in some way. The medical model of disability is often depicted in movies through a plot hole in which a disabled person is depressed and hopeless. This is sad. And as I was saying earlier, I think that the media has a really major impact on society, and people who have acquired disabilities are have this mindset that disability is sad and difficult and life is not worth living. And in my experience, at least, that's just not true. But in movies, but through friendship, where are we? but through friendship with an able-bodied person, the disabled person learns to embrace life. Yes, it's this need for being able-bodied, or even if you can't be able-bodied yourself, having this connection to an able-bodied person is what gives happiness. This inference that you need to be able-bodied in order to have a good life, or disability is the cause of pain and suffering, and well, it can be obviously, but it's the cause of being miserable, and so you need to counteract that with being able-bodied. There is a reverse twist on this idea that disabled people show able-bodied characters to be better people. Yeah. The issue with that is that it places the responsibility of other people's behavior on the disabled person. It's like, right, you're disabled, so you must tell me how to be a good person, or you must tell me about your disability, or you must tell me how to be a better advocate. Disabled people don't owe you anything, for starters. I personally love talking about disability, so I probably wouldn't turn away someone who wants to be more educated on disability, but that's a personal preference, not because I am disabled. Does that make sense? I hope so. And finally, I'm running out of breath. Let me grab a drink. Social model. Disability is seen as one aspect of a person's identity. This is what I like. One aspect of a person's identity. So, whether or not you're able-bodied or disabled, everyone has an identity, and that can be made up of lots of different attributes. So, part of my identity, a big part of my identity, is that I am disabled. For other people, that would be much smaller, but for me, that's basically the main part of my identity. Another part is that I'm a Christian. Another part is that I am a male. I am in my 20s. And all of these different things are parts of my identity. They all fit together to make me a unique person. So, yeah, for me personally, I would say disability has a bigger influence on my life than race, for example, or my gender. I almost never think about my race. Instead, it is my disability that I think about. And most of the time, that's because society has failed me in some way. There's not step-free access. I'm like, oh, I'm in a wheelchair. I can't do that thing, whatever it is. And so that's why I think it's a big part of my identity, or part of the reason why it's a big part of my identity, because it is. I can't get through a day without my disability in some way or another affecting me. I get out of bed and I get into my wheelchair, that kind of thing. So it doesn't have to be a big impact, but obviously able-bodied people don't go, well, I need to get into my wheelchair, you know? This mask is doing my head in. It's trying really hard to remove the background in real time. It's struggling, however. Let me see if I can give it another CPU thread without it being upset with me. How can I bear? Because it just flashes at me. Which, oops. Nope. Yeah. My headdress keeps, like, disappearing and reappearing. Not really much I can do about that, unfortunately. Yeah. So that is the... Oh. Where should I go? Yeah, so disability is, rather than a diagnosis, it is more of a mismatch between the disabled person and the environment, whether that environment is physical or social. So, the environment being, but I keep going to wheelchairs for obvious reasons. I'm a wheelchair user. But like a step free or a building that has steps to get in. So because the builder doesn't match my access needs, that's where the real disability is. That's the effect of disability. Or social. Yeah, whether you're able to do social events. Yeah. It is this environment that creates the handicaps and barriers, not the disability. From this perspective, the way to address disability is to change the environment and society, rather than the disabled person. Negative stereotypes and discrimination and oppression serve as barriers to environmental change and full inclusion. Movies that depict disability from a social model are more likely to have multiple disabled characters who form bonds, learn, and grow. Oh, just like an able-bodied character. I wonder if that's because, at the core, disabled people and able-bodied people are the exact same. Other films show disabled characters more realistically in the context of loving families who are not burdened by the disability in a society that discriminates, as activists trying to change laws. Yeah, I do like when disabled characters in the media are portrayed similarly to able-bodied people. They have their own wants and needs in the film. They have their own personalities. They are not just there as a plot device. They are a character, a 3D character in their own right. I love that so much. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love Toph. Yes, her disability allows for her to be more. Oh no, her superpower undoes her disability, but she is still a character. She is a person with her own with her own story arc and her own views, her own personality, she is her own person. She's not reliant on other people in order to exist. Yes, she needs help, but every other character in Avatar: The Last Airbender needs help at some point or another. Although students have a tendency to see one model as superior to the others, there are some potential benefits and costs to all of these perspectives. The moral model can bring shame, but also renewed faith. The medical model has spurred tremendous advances in rehabilitation, but is paternalistic. I have no idea what paternalistic means. Can you tell me? No, you can't. What does paternalistic mean? I thought it was going to read out to me. Relating to or characterized by the restriction of the freedom and responsibilities of subordinates or dependents in their supposed interest. Wait, I'm trying to understand that. Oh, it disappeared. No. My dictionary definition disappeared while I was trying to read it. Paternalistic. Oh, where you're like, forcing a. So. Hey, background filter, are you okay? Paternalistic being like when a person is viewed as superior and is telling you what to do in order to improve yourself, in a way. And it can be quite condescending, I think. I hope I got the definition right. and then the social model fosters community, but I don't know where I am. But you can tell that I'm getting tired. In my defense, I've been going for an hour and 20 minutes so far. But systemic ableism can be overwhelming. Probably most people have beliefs in more than one model, but it is hard to know, since currently there is not a well-established measure of the models. More data are needed from disabled people to get their perspective on the costs and benefits of a particular model of disability. Ooh. Yeah, I really like this article. I've only just found this, and I really like it because it mentions representation in media, something that I'm really passionate about. Really short, really easy to understand. Thank you very much, Rhoda Olkin. That was a really good article. Very, very good. Very impressed. I will give you money. No, I don't have any money to give, unfortunately. I'm sorry. Anyway. Oh, my throat hurts. I've been talking a lot. But yeah, that's just a bit of an overview of the 3 models of disability. I will get around to adding that to, to our Obsidian document. But yeah, this is kind of a format of these sessions. I now have a green. That's not what I wanted. There we go. That's kind of a format of these sessions. It is just about, yeah, disability as a whole, and how we... Why am I so distractible? I am so distractible. I am sorry. Where was I? My brain has gone to sleep. I'm now brain dead. Not brain dead. That's not what I meant. Today was not a good day for me to do this. Anyway, it's International Day of People with Disabilities. Now, what does that even mean? Let's look it up. International Day People with Disabilities. They normally have a theme each year, but I've not heard what the theme is this year. It is... No idea. They forgot to tell us. Not that, not that. I have no idea what this meme is. They've not actually said anything, which is very helpful. Timeline. That's not helpful. That's still not helpful. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for a not very helpful article from the United Nations who put the day in place. That sun is now in my eyes. That's my phone over my eyes, being my nightshade at the moment. Yeah, so, anyway, I guess the day is about, having more awareness, being aware of all the different issues in society that disabled people have to daily face. That's how I would summarize it. I'm actually going to the Houses of... Well, no, not to the Houses of Parliament. I'm going to Westminster. I think it was supposed to be at the Houses of Parliament at some point. I mean, it got moved. But, there we go. I'm going there tomorrow with the Disability Equality Charity, Scope, who are, yeah, the equality charity here in the UK, and that'd be interesting. I have no idea what to expect. Yeah, I'm excited for that. Yeah, so my life basically is me talking about disability, and I'm going to do that here if you guys are interested. To be honest, I probably will do it anyway, even if you're not interested. So yeah, that's what I'm planning to do over the next year or so. I'm just gonna do maybe not weekly, but maybe every other week, I'll look at a different disability or a different aspect of disability or disability representation in a movie or a TV show or something like that. And that's my plan. I'm also going to be working on our podcast, Ramped Up, which is a podcast all about disability. And the series, as I say, is all about special interests and hyperfixations and listening to people infodub, which I love so much. So I've got editing to do. That'll be releasing in the new year. I'm so excited for that. So yeah, it'll be a while till you see me again. It'll be probably first or second week of January, and then I'll be back looking at different topics, and I'll find another topics to look at. I will also find a way of making it easier for you guys to access this Obsidian document. I need to find a way to properly do that. And the other thing I will do is I will find a way of making it easier for you to vote on what I look at next. So my list at the moment is not in there. Where is it? There. That's my really badly formatted list. So I need to do cerebral palsy. Wait, let me add a description. Build. Description. Look. So we're also going to mention Out of My Mind, which is really good. I really strongly recommend. It's really like quite emotional. I'm very relatable as a disabled person. I would love to talk about that. Yeah, there's loads of different things I want to talk about. And hopefully we'll touch all aspects at some point or another. If you have any views or any topics you want me to cover, let me know in chat. I will keep an eye on it. And yeah, I really look forward to doing a series with you. I think that's me done. I've been going for an hour and a half nearly, so my voice is going, and I have a long day today. So, thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you shortly. Goodbye.